I need to start first with 5D Mystic here. So there's a woo-woo lady for those of you who don't have clairs, but we all can have clairs. Thank you, neuroscience community, for bringing research to the forefront where they have looked into the lovely brains of those from different cultures between, I think it was shamans, deities, da 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 da. And this is an interview on well or big think. They showed the 4 aspects that are consistent, and there's a way the brain works when in flow, and integration of the brain is awesome. So securely attached person easily moves into this. Raise your hand. Enlightenment soul age group 2. So here I bring the human, spiritual, and spirituality elements together. And mysticism is pretty awesome. It's a word that I use so that I can allow people to know, yes, some of us are channelers, but it's not because we're special star babies. We're actually human babies. We each have a body, and in fact, it's unfortunate that there's a bandwidth, unfortunate for those of us who tap into the infinite higher human consciousness potential. That's because the 4D bandwidth believes in the land that is in duality. And when I say believe, it's not only a belief. 3D believes in it with our ancients. And so there's texts and a lot of history, and people who will maintain that, they will maintain it. It reminds me, there's a TV show or movie, I never really got into any of it, but it's really popular with people. And I forget, because there's 2 of them that they get confused, and like there's fans of one, and if you confuse them, they get pissy because you're like, oh, how dare you confuse these 2? They're cinematographic lovers. I don't have that much enjoyment, meaning I know basics of cinematography. I'm not into it intellectually, but there are people who know a lot about it. So whenever we've talked, so here, my brain doesn't function well with names like data. It's boring data, or I don't know, my brain just doesn't allocate it. So long story short, though, in this TV series and a movie, or it's a movie and they made it into a TV series, very popular. One of them got bought out by Disney, and everybody was really upset about that one. So those ones, okay? I'm going to avoid saying the name so that I don't get the people like, ah. But on one of their episodes, what I remember is that they can't go to different planets and affect those planets where they're at with their evolution. And I think of our globe, which I do know we have our flat earthers. They're into making sure they can prove it's flat. I would have thought they would have done other stuff with their lovely brains, but see, this is the point. Everybody has a subjective interest, and they call it reality. And then there's the group that says, you can't say subjective reality, and they're all pissy in their pants about it because they don't learn about neuroscience or about the updated information and technology. I'm so sorry, the machines, they're monsters and mean, and whatever they're seeing in the brain can't be true. And all the experts, they don't sit in one room and come together and agree on anything. So when you have a securely attached person, I'm trying to get a point across. We're not like, oh my gosh, we don't feel like the chicken little skies falling. Okay, the securely attached person, an enlightenment soul age person, is not absent of emotion. No, we just don't think all of this stuff is dramatic, because inside of us we're like, hello, does anybody not know that there's the scientific methodology, there's pseudoscience people? I'll raise my hand, I'm okay with that. I'm not selling snake oil, though. I ain't saying, here, with my magic wand, let me heal you, because it's more complex than that. This is where it's serious business. Like, I'm a Reiki practitioner, and one of my individuals that I did sessions with, they let me know that I healed a hernia. They hadn't told me about it. I didn't know until they told me about it. But that's the whole point. When you learn about Reiki as a Reiki master, you learn not to actually go into it thinking something's going to be an outcome, da-da-da. So anybody who's awakened to their mind will not fall for snake oil. The ancients who want the silverbacks, they're not ancients necessarily. These are people who don't have self-confidence. They don't have healthy self-worth. They don't know that they're not superior or inferior. And this is the serious business that I'm trying to get to at a certain point, which is where people don't know how a human is made when they're 4D. They're busy with the whole illusion of spiritual warfare. And I mean, it's better if they just go back to the ancient institutions. At least they have a history, and there's reasons for their rule books. But then again, it's a creative world. So if they want to spend their brain power in those areas, it's kind of like with the flat earthers. They're not going to, in fact, present any type of big deal. The people who make a big deal out of it, those individuals, if they used their charge for what they want to bring forth in life, they'd be a lot happier than doing what I consider is gossip or wasting your time on a group of people. Like, you're wasting even energy. You're using your 2-year-old, your essence of life, to be pissy that people are going to change a dictionary on you, for example. Now, as a teenager, as a stickler for perfection, I mean, actually, even as a child, once I got taught how to put the toilet paper, I argued with my mother about how to put the toilet paper. But see, our brains, they work a certain way as we're growing through our years, which is why, while some will say you've changed, it's like, no, I've grown. My brain went through a development. So if you want to consider that change, fine, but I would say it's evolution, expansion. It's a natural progression, like the fact that I'm going to age and get old. Is that change? I mean, it's a consistent little circle wheel. So what I love about somatic therapists is they know how important it is for every individual differentiated self to use the words that feel right to them. So no, I don't change. I expand. That's your 5D mystics who are love buttons, because we don't separate from our 3-year-old and stop actually being genuinely interested and excited about life. But that's because we have secure attachment. As I was trying to say, my body is my home. And I'm meaning my body, Maria's body. And your body, if it's not your home yet, and here's where 4D. What makes me sad for 4D Collective is that they don't understand the importance of watching videos like Patrick McNamara's on the fact that you don't get possessed by a demon when you may have REM interrupting throughout the day state and you have dissociation. They also don't know what dissociation means. People think it means you faint. No. The example is given to me that by Daniel Siegel. I'm in the interpersonal neurobiology course, finishing up that educational material. Is really great, learning how the mind, brain, and relationships work. And in that, he shares the example of dissociation. I'm driving down a highway. I think of my trip to Hawaii. I skip my exit because I'm lost in fantasy land. I am a mystic, as I mentioned before. So besides Akashic record readings, tarot readings, mediumship, and actually having a relationship with the sphere, I have also, as I'm doing things, have had downloads on people that are part of my oversoul. In fact, in one of them, I recognized the energetic imprint of my oversoul piece that's going to be in my future. And that's another thing. 5D mystics, we have a relationship with the energetic imprint, not the story. The story is for the star babies who are actually martyrs, superiors, the I'm going to change you codependent type, or the self-blame or blaming others for not having taken care of them. The equations of codependent types is in a body that feels insecure, low self-esteem, indirect communication, passive-aggressive, don't know boundaries. You only learn boundaries when you feel good to be yourself in your body. To feel good to be yourself in your body, there's the need to be able to tap into your prefrontal cortex. And when you have instead a traumatized safety behavior brain, and it was not stimulated in certain areas, because your brain develops according to what your environment is in the first year of your life, and the right brain mode is the only part that is online. So you are an emotional being first and foremost, and the first 2 years of your life are what are going to help you to securely be yourself, but the first 7 is really where you're going to either be securely attached or have an attachment wound. And then you're going to also have a shame defectiveness, which means you're going to feel broken. And then here's where we see people projecting upon humanity. Human beings are broken. Let me go fix human beings. So the codependent type here dynamic plays out. So for a securely attached person, we don't fix people or change people. The Enlightenment Soul Age group, we actually love people as they are. We walk with people. We understand 4D, 3D don't have secure attachment within their body. So they're not able to be their self in a secure way. With their silverback, yes. And that's why they actually look for silverbacks. The unfortunate bit is that the snake oil and magic wand is sometimes what they end up falling for. And that's what we don't like. So we want to try and educate and empower people with information. Even if it doesn't make sense to everybody, it doesn't matter. The 5D mystics want to help those who are in the in-between understand the scientific methodology supports us because we've evolved. We've evolved to use our brain. So integration of the brain is the optimization of your brain. To get here, you have to have a relationship with your emotional body, which means to reconnect to it and to know about trauma memory and to know about attachment systems and to know about Human 101. So tune in for more. I might make another one. And in the meantime, have a wonderful day. Thank you for stopping by.